As part of the lesson, the corrections department employees took a written test.
All right, I need these names and the scores.
I have KR 11.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
KR, just initials, 11.
Just KR, just an initial, no last name?
No names.
How many?
11. And Churden or Charles, I'm not sure.
Thank you, sir.
Tell me the name again.
Churden?
You can't read the name?
No, I can't. Can't make it out.
What's your name?
My name is Chambers.
First name?
Janine.
And what was her score?
6.
Next.
E. Riley with a 5.
E.
E. Riley.
Will E. Riley please stand? You know, it's what you do to the image of blues with your behavior is unfortunate. What you three people do to the image of women with your behavior really makes me angry. The fact that you do this kind of thing and this kind of sloppy work reflects badly on women. I resent that doubly. Yes.
Ma'am, I'd really appreciate it if you'd call us by name when you say you three people. We don't know who you're speaking to. It could be anyone here.
My dear, if you wanted me to call you by name, you'd have put your name on your paper.
It's on my...
It was to be on your paper.
You didn't see my papers, ma'am.
I didn't get your name either because it wasn't on your paper.
That's right.
All right, now how can one call you by your name if you don't care enough about your name to put it on your paper? Don't expect me to worry about it. Don't expect me to worry about it if you don't put it on your paper. Don't sit here and say, my name is important to me, after you have just deliberately not put it on your paper. You're being totally unrealistic.
Important to me. I remember saying, I like to know who you're speaking to you when you say you three.
Then what should you do?
Ask you to use my name, which I did.
And where should your name have been?
Right where it is.
On your paper?
And on my birth certificate.
Is it on your paper?
No, ma'am.
Where'd you get a birth certificate?
Same place you got? Out of a slot machine, same as you did, lady.
I think you're probably right about your own.
At least I know who my parents are, ma'am.
Is she being rude?
Yes.
She being inconsiderate?
Very.
She being uncooperative?
Very.
She being insulted?
Yes.
Are all those the things that we've accused blue-eyed people of being?
Yes.
Is she proving that we're right?
Yes.
Does anyone have any comments to make at this point?
Do you feel that there are important blue-eyed people?
There are exceptions to every rule.
And what are those exceptions?
There are a few important blue-eyed people.
Very few.
You
Do you think that you're one of them?
No. That's
Then why
good.
are you up there then?
I'm blue-eyed. The difference between you and me is I have a brown-eyed husband and brown-eyed offspring, and I've learned how to behave in a brown-eyed society. And when you can act brown enough, then you too can be where I am.
I wouldn't want to be where you are.
Are you certain?
Absolutely positive.
You like where you are?
I love where I am.
You like it so much that you don't even identify yourself on your papers.
I don't need to, lady.
Her using the term lady, where I'm concerned, what do you think she's trying to do? Is it ignorance or is it deliberately insulting?
I would say it was deliberately insulting.
If it's ignorance, she needs to be taught that to many of us, the word lady is a pejorative. I don't appreciate it. It is, it's a put down, and it's used to keep women in their place.
Correct name.
I'm sorry.
I will call you by a correct name after this. I won't be kind.
That was kindness on your part?
Yes.
Then you are
calling someone a lady is a kindness.
Then your problem is ignorance.
You can call me lady anytime you like.
I wouldn't do that to you.
No, I know you wouldn't.
I really wouldn't. I think that, and that's part of the problem, is a total lack of awareness at what sexism amounts to and how much you contribute to the sexism that keeps you where you are. It's not
I
enough.
like where I am, lady. I did it again, didn't I?
Yes.
I'm getting kind of fed up with this whole bunch of garbage.
Why?
Brown-eyed peoples are no different than we are.
I hate to tell them that. They have these false delusions and such.
Are they being disruptive?
No, you trained them very well. I think that's what they did with the stormtroopers in Germany also. You guys do a real good job sitting
You
up
think that what's
there.
happening here today feels like it would have felt in Nazi Germany?
Yes,
Where do you think you are in that then?
Where do I think I am?
Who are you if you're in Nazi Germany? Who are you?
The Jews.
After a break for lunch, Jane Elliott helped the corrections department employees analyze what had happened.
Did you learn anything this morning?
I think I learned from the experience of feeling like I was in a glass cage and I was powerless. There was a sense of hopelessness. I was angry. I wanted to speak up, and yet at times I knew if I spoke up, I'd be back in a powerless situation. I'd be attacked. A sense of hopelessness.
Had you experienced that before?
I realized this morning that there were very few times in my life that I've ever been discriminated against. Very few.
And you were this uncomfortable in an hour and a half?
I was amazed at how uncomfortable I was in the first 15 minutes.
Can you empathize at all then with blacks, minority group members in this country?
I'm hoping better than before.
If we tried to argue with you, you would use just the mere argument as reason for us being lesser than the brown-eyed folks. You know, you couldn't win.
Yeah, don't we do that every day?
I think some do, yeah. But I would hope that I never get so unreasonable. The statements you were making were groundless and such, and yet we couldn't argue with them, because if we argued, then we were argumentative and not listening and getting out of our place and all that stuff. And that was frustrating to me. And then frustrating to me was the other little green tags who were sitting on their hands. My group here was, I didn't think, boisterous enough in our opposition to the whole thing.
Why didn't you people support one another? Why didn't the blue-eyed people on this side just sat there? And let's face it, you covered your asses. Right? Why did you just sit there?
Well, I think that's symptomatic of the problem as a whole. We see that, in society in general. We see a few people who are making a lot of noise, and the rest of the people sitting back waiting to see what they're going to do.
Okay, as long as I was picking on him, I was leaving you alone, right?
Right.
I'd say a lot of people accept that. They have a few people do their fighting for them, and they stand back, and if this person's going to win, then they'll get on this side. If that person's not going to win, they'll stay back over here, That's just how it works.
If you were in a real situation where you had to do something about racism, would you stand up and be counted?
What I would do, I don't know. It would depend on the exigencies.
But you would do something.
I would have to do something. I couldn't go home tonight and face my kids if I didn't.
How did you brown-eyed people feel while this was going on?
Embarrassed.
Sense of relief I wasn't a blue-eyed person.
Sense of relief that you had the right color eyes. Absolutely.
I really understood, at least I felt that I understood, what it was like to be in the minority.
Why were you angry?
First of all, because it was unreasonable. Secondly, because I felt discriminated against. Thirdly, I think that all of us, everyone in this room, has dealt with discrimination on both sides. You don't have to be black or Jewish or Mexican or anything else to have felt discrimination in your life. And as you become an adult, you learn to deal with those feelings within yourself. You learn to handle those. And when you feel yourself in a situation that you can't get out of, which we couldn't, we were a captive audience. And it was not a normal situation, because normally you aren't badgered.
What if you had to spend the rest of your life this way?
I don't know how to answer that.
You don't wake up every morning knowing that you're different. You wake up as a white woman who is going to her job at 8 o'clock or whatever, where a black person is going to wake up knowing from the minute they get up out of the bed and look in the mirror, they're black. And they have to deal with the problems they've had to deal with ever since they were young, and realize that I am different and I have to deal with life differently. Things are different for me. And I don't think you can really say that you have felt, maybe you have felt some sort of discrimination, but you haven't felt what it is like for a black woman to go through the daily experiences of arguing and saying, listen to me, my point of view is good, what I have to offer here is good. And no one wants to listen because white is right. That's the way things are.
I think the necessity for this exercise is a crime. No, I don't want to see it used more widely. I want to see the necessity for it wiped out. And I think if educators were determined that we could be very instrumental in wiping out the necessity for this exercise. But I want to see something used. I'd like to see this exercise used with all teachers, all administrators, but certainly not with all students unless it's done by people who are doing it for the right reasons and in the right way. I think you could damage a child with this exercise very, very easily. And I would never suggest that everybody should use it. I think you could have training classes for teachers, bring them in, put them through the thing, explain what happened, do the debriefing, and then practice doing this until a group of teachers were able to do it on their own. And teachers are not disabled learners. They could learn to do this, obviously. If I can do it, most anyone can do it. It doesn't take a super teacher to do this exercise.
What began in a third-grade classroom has spread from students to teachers to corrections officers. At the center is still a single teacher, determined to inoculate her students, both young and old, against the virus of bigotry.
After you do this exercise, when the debriefing starts, when the pain is over and you're all back together and you're all one again, you find out how society could be if we really believed all this stuff that we preach. If we really acted that way, you could feel as good about one another as those kids feel about one another after this exercise is over. You create instant cousins. I thought maybe that lasted just while they were in my classroom because of my superior influence. But indeed, these kids still feel that way about one another. They said yesterday, over and over, the remark was made, we're kind of like a family now. They found out how to hurt one another, and they found out how it feels to be hurt in that way. And they refused to hurt one another that way again. And they said, we're kind of like a family now, and indeed we were.
There's more about this story on Frontline's website, including an interview with Jane Elliott about her life today, some frequently asked questions about this film, and a chance to watch it again online. Or find out on the website if your PBS station will be airing the program again. Then join the discussion, see what others thought about the program, and add your own comments. At PBS Online, pbs.org. Or write an email to frontline@pbs.org. Or write to this address.
It takes time to build trust. Time to find out what's true. Time to make up your mind. There's no place to run. It takes time to tell the stories that matter. Frontline.
To order Frontline's A Class Divided on DVD or VHS, call PBS Home Video at 1-800-PLAY-PBS.
Frontline is made possible by the annual financial support of PBS viewers like you. Thank you.